Now, when it comes to One Piece, it abuses the famous anime trope we've seen from Bleach with Yamamoto to Hunter x Hunter with Netero, of the old being on top. But Ichiro Oda has admitted enjoys seeing these old dudes kick ass. So of course, One Piece would have this trope on steroids, like Silver's Rayleigh fighting toe-to-toe with a Prime Admiral in Kizaru. And we just saw Luffy, how difficult that was, Kizaru battle on Egghead Island. So you gotta give respect to respect is due. Or making the Yonko Blackbeard retreat. Like, you have to understand, Blackbeard's in his prime, but just remembering Rayleigh's prime power made him say, yeah, I do not want to deal with this right now. Or Don Chinjao during Dressrosa randomly having Conqueror's Haki and clashing with Luffy in a Conqueror's Haki clash. Like, what the hell? And you can even look at Sengoku the Buddha during Marineford War fighting the Blackbeard pirates after Blackbeard got the Gurgur no Mi. And I can go on forever, like characters like Lao Ji or Dr. Correa or even the Soul King Brook, our own honorary Straw Hat pirate. But I want to shift the focus, in my opinion, to the strongest old pirate and the strongest old Marine, and how both are known for their amazing things they've done in their prime, like Garp teaming up with Gol D Roger to take down Rox D Zebek during God Valley, or Whitebeard fighting Roger in his prime, which in my opinion is still the best feat in the anime. Like, if you think about it, how they were going toe-to-toe in the anime was insane. 3 days straight fighting. So I want to set up a scenario where Garp actually fights Whitebeard instead of Akainu fighting Whitebeard during Marineford War in a fair 1v1. I know that's very difficult because One Piece is known for not having fair 1v1s. Like, let's look at the recent Luffy versus Kaido battle. That was definitely a 1v17. Nah, I kid, I joke. Luffy definitely did his thing in Gear 5th, but still, not only when I talk about who wins, I'm going to talk about how they will win, and it'll be highlighted all in this video. So make sure you guys, of course, hit the subscribe button, because Drip Codes will be dropping more high quality videos of power scaling and other videos, surprise videos as well. And of course, hit the like button too, and stick to the end to find out the answer when it comes to what if Garp fought Whitebeard. Now, Whitebeard was able to clash with a prime red hair Shanks early on in the One Piece story. The same Shanks who one-shotted both Eustace Kid, and of course, Eustace Kid was coming off a Big Mom win, so you have to look at that, with the help of the law. But still, Big Mom is a Yonko. You gotta give respect to respect is due. And the Kid took numerous attacks from her that was coded in Conqueror's Haki, with her Devil Fruit amplifying her strength too. And Big Mom is naturally just a monster. Like, when she was 5, she was killing bears, while also hitting Kaido with a couple of impressive Devil Fruit attacks. Plus, his Vice Captain Killer tried to help him out against Shanks, who also took an attack from Big Mom and hit Kaido with an impressive attack as well. Now, some might say it was Shanks using Future Sight that surpassed the likes of the legendary Katakuri, in combination with, of course, Eustace Kid Damn Punk backfiring on him and Killer. Now, some would say that, but regardless, you have to look at it like this, guys. An old sick Whitebeard was clashing a Conqueror's Haki clash with Shanks, and he didn't get the Eustace Kid Killer treatment, who are in their prime. So you gotta respect is due. Now, when we look at Garp's first time fighting seriously, because we've seen Garp joke around before, like when Axam Morgan slashed him while he was asleep, or when he was throwing cannonballs at Luffy during Eddie's lobby, and like all those gag moments. I'm talking about Garp actually fighting when he invades the Yonko Blackbeard's territory to save his protege Kobe, who had of course been kidnapped after the Amazon Lily incident, which we just saw in the anime. And Garp doesn't hold back, bringing out a better Conqueror's Haki feat than Whitebeard clashing with Prime Shanks, in my opinion, when it comes to Conqueror's Haki coding. And like, that's crazy. And just to defend Whitebeard here, Whitebeard does have Conqueror's Haki coding. It literally became a thing during the Wano arc, the last arc in the story that just finished in the anime, where of course we got teased with Thunder Bagua one-shotting Gear 4th Luffy. And of course, this is after post Katakuri. They're in Whole Cake Island, so Luffy was pretty powerful when he got one-shot by Kaido. And then, of course, the Prime Pirate King versus the Prime World's Strongest Man, and them having that Conqueror's Haki clash, and they're not touching. Let's be honest here. Whitebeard knows Conqueror's Haki coding, but we just never seen him when he was old and sick. It's ironic because Prime Whitebeard shares the best Conqueror's Haki coding feat, clashing with a Prime Pirate King Gol D Roger, but that's another video for another day. We're looking at the hypothetical, not a prime battle between these two characters, these two monsters. So back to Garp, he has Galaxy Impact, which is the destructive ability honestly, of this move looked like King Kong Gun, which is one of Luffy's best attacks we've seen in the story. Which in my opinion, King Kong Gun was city level. Now, of course, Kankazaki coating added onto Garp's attack makes it stronger than King Kong's gun, but the destructive ability was similar. And Garp, of course, was actually disappointed by this move, which says a lot about how much power Garp has lost throughout his aging through the story. Because you have to understand, Garp is older than Whitebeard by a couple of years too. Now, Marineford is what really showcases Whitebeard's X factor, and that is the Gurgur no Mi, in which he immediately causes a sea quake to start off the arc, and then adds on minutes later when Garp realizes that the Whitebeard seaquake that he caused comes back as a full-fledged tsunami. And of course, Goku announces that Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world. So Whitebeard has the critical acclaim from both these legendary marines. And this Earthquake Dove Fruit is going to cause huge problems for Garp in this hypothetical battle. There's a reason why one of the main villains of One Piece, who spent decades on Newgate's ship, stole it. Blackbeard knows how much it helped Whitebeard throughout his life. Now, of course, Aokiji did freeze the tsunami and attack Whitebeard right after, though Whitebeard just quaked the ice arrows and the Aokiji with ease. And speaking of Aokiji, he's one of the best characters to power scale Garp in the current story, given that they just fought, and one of the first interactions is Garp being frozen, and he escapes this ice ball and grabs Aokiji's face with Conqueror's Haki coating, slams him to the ground, causing a deep hole in the Pirate Island Beehive, which makes sense since Garp calls this move Blue Hole, which honestly reminds me of when Whitebeard got frozen by Aokiji and escaped using his Dove Fruit ability with the quakes, but his attacks, like, let's be honest here, he attacked using Haki just like Garp right after, but Aokiji actually dodged it. Aokiji did the Katakuri evasion tactic, some would even say future sight, though it's not been confirmed, which just shows me that Garp has a speed advantage over Whitebeard, which I would hope so, because Whitebeard is the world's strongest man, not the world's fastest man, and he's sick, so that should definitely slow him down. Now, some of you might be in the comments saying Doflamingo also escaped Aokiji's ice ball, so it's not that big of a deal. Well, I would counter that by saying Buffalo comments Doflamingo was lucky that he wasn't frozen through and through. And of course, you look at the Blackbeard top commanders and Jozu as well. Like, Jozu made Aokiji bleed, but still was frozen and lost an arm because of how frozen he was. And they weren't lucky enough like Doflamingo. Now, I'm saying that Garp has the top feat, not being a Delphi user as well, and breaking out, in my personal opinion. And even though Whitebeard doesn't actually use named attacks, let's be honest here, his Delphi is so destructive. Does he really need named attacks when his observation haki can react to a giant trying to catch him slipping and easily destroy the Vice Admiral weapon, and then of course his face as well, because he was wearing a metal mask like it's nothing? Honestly, showing the power of low diffing not just a giant but a Vice Admiral giant, which we know are better than regular giants, which was insane. But I know Garp fans want to let me know as well that Garp has an even better feat by low diffing a top Blackbeard commander who was imprisoned in Empel Down's level 6, Sanwan Wolf, the battleship, who even towers over the likes of Oz Jr. And Oz Jr. was low diffing giants like it was with ease from Marineford, who took, of course, an Ursus shock, a leg being cut off by Doflamingo, and of course a shadow arrow from Moria, 3 attacks from Warlords, and was still kicking after that. This just shows you how crazy it is that Garp was able to low diff this immensely huge creature by throwing him into the water. Yo, you gotta give respect to respect is due. So now let's talk about one of the more controversial moments during the Marineford arc, and that was of course Squardo. Now, Squardo sticking his huge sword into Whitebeard, which shocked a lot on the battlefield. So now the new world captain, Whirlpool Spider, has lost to Roger in the past, and his attack was able to bring Whitebeard to his knees, and actually blood coming from Whitebeard's mouth as well, which angered Crocodile since he lost to Whitebeard back in the days and knows he could easily defeat Squardo. Even Marco agrees with the opposition in Crocodile, saying that pretty much Whitebeard should have easily dodged that regardless of an ally attacking him, and shows that how Whitebeard is getting more and more sick. And we know Ace, like just a couple years ago, Ace was missing and all his attacks while Whitebeard was asleep. So Marco deduces that Whitebeard's condition was actually getting worse during Marineford War. And Whitebeard lets Crocodile know after this exchange that I'm not a weak man, but I am a man with one heart, just like you. and I can't be the strongest forever. And you think about it, he's pretty much telling that I'm not a demon or a monster or some mythical creature. I'm a human. Whitebeard telling Crocodile that was very huge in the story to me. And you have to think about it, Whitebeard was the strongest pirate after Roger's death. That is a fact. You cannot deny that. Now, when it comes to comparing this incident to, of course, Garp saving Kobe, who's known for his great observation haki, but Garp's haki was stronger in this moment and jumped in front of an invisible Shishyu of the Rain, who before his Delphoid was known as an equal to Magellan. Of course, Magellan had the edge because of his Delphoid ability, but Shishyu of the Rain was known as an equal to Magellan during the Impel Down arc, and was widely considered the vice captain to Blackbeard, as seen in the color spread with characters like Zoro, Ben Beckman, and many more vice captain characters. So Garp immediately taking that attack, of course, and even says the punk from Impel Down and punches his face to the ground. This shows me how powerful Garp truly is, because we see how Garp handled a much tougher situation, showing how much Whitebeard's sickness really slowed him down, like when it comes to his defense and of course evading attacks. For Whitebeard, he took more damage after the incident. I will say that Whitebeard, after getting stabbed by Squardo, took way more damage during the war than Garp, of course, didn't take that much damage after Shishyu of the Rain's attack. But you have to understand, Shishyu of the Rain attack is way more damaging than Squardo's. Now, right after Whitebeard was stabbed, he runs into the strongest giant at Marineford. You have to understand, this giant has ties to Mother Caramel, so John the Giant is not just a regular giant, even compared to the Vice Admiral giants. So when he clashes with his huge sword, and of course Whitebeard then tilts the entire island, and of course, we see it compared to Blackbeard when he did this exact same move. Whitebeard's control is so much better, which makes sense for how long he's had this Delphoid ability. Whitebeard then does one of his more strongest attacks we've seen in Marineford and defeats John the Giant, and even attempts to destroy the execution platform that Ace is of course on. But the three admirals had to use advanced armament haki to stop the Yonko's powerful attack. And I gotta give respect to Whitebeard, forcing three admirals to use advanced armament haki pre-time skip, especially having the context of him being just stabbed. Now let's look at Garp after he got stabbed by Shishyu of the Rain. He clashed with a Prime Admiral Aokiji, and Aokiji put on the Ice Glove. This is the same Aokiji that fought Akainu for 10 days on Punk Hazard and learned everything from Garp during his training, of course punching the battleships with no haki or no Delphoid to progress your natural strength. Now some say this is a Conqueror's Haki clash, though I feel like I'm going to stay safe here and say it's not, and it's just a really powerful armored haki clash between two very powerful characters in Garp and Aokiji, who, let's be honest with you, both of them were sent flying after this clash to the face. These punches to the face were devastating. And as I discussed Garp's main fight, you guys seen the thumbnail contrast of Ice and Magma. Whitebeard went up against, in my opinion, the strongest admiral. Let's be honest here, Akainu defeated Aokiji after 10 days, and of course, Oda said himself that Akainu had the strongest offensive Delphoid ability. Now, of course, Whitebeard has the strongest Paramecia Delphoid ability, so seeing them clash equally was no surprise when it comes to these two mega powerhouses. And of course, you have to understand, while he's clashing with Akainu, he still has time to let his crew know that after Garp punched Marco the Phoenix, the strongest Whitebeard pirate, he says that Garp is just another old man, which Akainu responds by saying, you guys are from the same era, and sends a Red Dog Magma attack, which Whitebeard easily blocks. So you have to understand, Marineford had the old generation going crazy. And one of the more impressive moments for me personally is when Garp is dripping blood from his wound that he got from Shishyu of the Rain, but is still able to speed blitz Aokiji and like pretty much knock Aokiji away. And he was not done there, as of course he uses Galaxy Divide on Avalo Pizarro, this level 6 prisoner who's now a top young commander who added the island fruit. So his Galaxy Divide to his face was crazy. And it looks like a Conqueror's Haki coding clash, Conqueror's Haki coding attack from Garp. And I know people are going to let me know that Garp ended up losing to Aokiji. But honestly, this fight made me think he could beat Aokiji in a natural 1v1. Because Garp was fighting Shishyu of the Rain, Avalo Pizarro, San Juan Wolf, and even Vasco Shot was involved, with a Prime Admiral at that too, and the only damage he took was when he was weakened by Shiryu's sneak attack. And then when we take a close look at Marineford, Akainu got a point blank Magma hit after Whitebeard was suffering a damn heart attack on the battlefield. And of course we even see moments of Kizaru getting a light hit as well when Whitebeard was stopping him from teleporting to Luffy. And then after that, of course, Whitebeard, with all his damage he's getting from these admirals and all this he has accumulated from the Navy, stops Squardo's ship with no haki, no Delphin ability, just his raw strength in one arm. And Whitebeard then planned to sink the entire Marineford island. Now, of course, he was going to sink the island with himself as well, but what we witnessed from Whitebeard cannot be understated. He is truly a monster. And I would be silly not to mention Whitebeard's rage. The power-up he got in his rage was probably the strongest Whitebeard we've seen in the entire arc, with quakes that made, of course, the also-durable Akainu bleed, and tanking a Magma Fist that took half his face off, to going to send a quake right back at Akainu's ribcage, making him cough blood, and having the Marine HQ building collapse at the same time. And all I could think of was Fleet Admiral Sengoku, who said, half your face is gone and you still have so much power. And we see more of this when a fresh Blackbeard, the same Blackbeard who defeated Ace, gets a slash and a quake to the face, causing him to get his entire crew to jump Whitebeard. And Whitebeard was still able to speak after this jumping and stand before dying. Like, Whitebeard never went to the ground, yo. He died standing up with 267 sword wounds, 152 bullet wounds, and 46 cannon wounds. Whitebeard easily took way more damage than Garp in the Marineford War. And you understand, it's all happening during a war. And there was no damage on his back, showing he never ran from the smoke. His durability and stamina feats are still insane, even when you compare it to the prime Yonkus of Kaido and Big Mom. Whitebeard did his thing. And the reason why I mention this is because that is the only way that Whitebeard can beat Garp. Yes, you heard me right, guys. By tanking numerous of his Conqueror's Haki coding attacks and countering with explosive quakes that had Akainu even heavily damaged. And that's a very hard win condition to me personally, because when Garp has the speed advantage and the Haki advantage, I still think the battle will last days, and that makes it worse for Whitebeard, because even though Whitebeard has these durability and stamina feats, Garp being completely healthy and fast enough to evade more attacks than Whitebeard, he should be able to outlast Whitebeard in an extreme difficulty win battle. And you have to understand too, Garp during Marineford was 2 years younger, so he could have more stamina. And doing this video just makes me think, who would win when it comes to Akainu and Garp? Because we know Garp said he wanted to kill Akainu. And honestly, if this video gets 1,000 likes, you might see that. And of course, click the end screen if you want to see my Odin versus Zoro versus battle that I did 6 months ago. Guys, trust me, there will be more content. Peace out.